I'm Amanda Perry, and I'm playing Amanda Wingfield.
I'm Michael Hill, and I'm playing Tom Wingfield.
I am Macy Ladner, and I'm playing Laura Wingfield.
I'm Charlie Parker, and I'm playing Jim O'Connor.
And I'm Michael Green, and I'm the director.
I've always liked Tennessee Williams, and I did a scene from this show at Birmingham Southern College in an acting class, and I had a lot of fun. I loved it. I learned a lot, and I never play the quiet roles, so this was a challenge for me.
For me, the Glass Menagerie, it seemed like something so far outside of my comfort zone. I've never done anything like this before, and the role of Jim O'Connor he's so different from how I am in my personal life. And
That's for sure.
Yeah, you ain't kidding.
That's for sure.
Well, let me
Ain't you
ask you
Scott?
then, what is your comfort zone?
Not talking. Like I'm a very quiet person. I'm very reserved.
That's the first thing I think of.
I've
when I
never
think of
seen that
Charlie.
side.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very reserved.
Yeah, I am. You don't know me, so
Is that on or off the medication?
that's both. I'm just like I'm like a hurricane. You can't tame me.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I just go.
I was about
It's
to
true.
ask, can this be used?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can.
Absolutely.
I'm the charming
It's
one.
like a
I'm
sparrow in
I'm
a
what's gonna
hurricane.
rope all
Yeah.
these people into the show.
That's
come
right.
Come see me. And
We're
so-
letting the
The
public
ge-
see the real
the
us
gentleman
behind
caller,
the
yeah.
characters.
Right.
yeah.
No, the expectations. People have expectations about classic plays. When you
Yeah.
go see them, there are certain things they expect. It's hard sometimes to deviate with your own ideas because people expect Laura to be a certain way. They expect Amanda to be a certain way. And also trying to replicate a period of time that the vast majority of your audience is not going to have any connection with. So to make them understand the certain social norms and ideas of that time and make them believable, it can be a real challenge.
To me, the biggest challenge is making all of the characters not necessarily likable, but not making you hate all of them. Because none of them are the most likable, but you have to be able to relate to them. But they all have
Everybody
big
in this
moments.
play is damaged. in some
Yeah,
way.
bad. Yeah.
Which is relatable, though.
Yeah.
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 I think there's somebody in this play that everybody can relate to in some ways. Tom is this frustrated guy who's never been able to chase his dreams, and Laura has never really known love, and Amanda is a domineering mother who truly loves her children, but just goes about it kind of in a destructive way, maybe. So.
But the circumstances are still very true. There are still single mothers who are trying to push their children to have a better life, whether they go about it right or not. But that's
That's true. It's still, yeah.
and kids who are trying to get out from under what their parents think is best for them when they want something completely different.
Yeah.
So those are kind of timeless.
Yeah, the obligation of being there for the family
Mm-hmm.
when you don't necessarily want to be, but you feel, whether it's because of the parent or because of your feeling of obligation to the siblings.
Yeah.
A lot of times you stay when you really shouldn't. It's just making everything worse a lot of times.
With most classic plays, and I think this one's no different, you could do this play on the bare stage and it would still have
Yeah.
the same emotional effect. You don't necessarily need a fully replicated modern, or not modern, but realistic play. I mean, set to make the play work. And I think that's why any great play it's the characters and the emotions and how they portray them more than it is what surrounds them. So you can have a great set and do a bad job, or you can do a good job and have a small set. It still works.
And this particular space is good for this
I love
play
it.
because of the, like, you know, when you change the way everything is to make it more compact, and you feel like you're on top of each other. You're kind of on top of the audience here too, so the confined space is more exaggerated here.
It's
in
hard.
a smaller area. Like
It's hard
this.
in this theater not to get personally involved in what's happening on
Right.
the stage because you're so close to it.
Yeah, it's an intimate show for an intimate space, and I
Mhm.
think this is a really great
It's a
space
really
for
good
this,
place for this,
show
yeah.
specifically.
Well, I hope I bring a sense of experience and a vision that hopefully can keep the actors with the same game plan and try to keep the characters following the true path that those characters are, but at the same time allowing those actors to implement their own things into it. It can be difficult as as a director when you're working with an experienced cast like this to know when to step in and when to just leave them alone and let them do their thing. And I've enjoyed working with all four of these people because they all bring something different to the show, but they bring a lot of creativity and they bring a lot of energy to it, and for a director that just makes my job that much more fun.
Why are you looking at me?
But-
I was about to look for
Yeah.
Because
You're the most experienced.
Age before
Aren't you?
beauty.
I'm not a
So,
PhD.
Oh, you're the
MFA.
Yeah, you're the MFA.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Exact
Yeah,
same
okay.
thing.
Bunch of letters.
I'm actually a BMF. But,
Oh, Mike, you're such a hound.
For me, it all starts with the script and dissecting it bit by bit, and then turning around and bouncing those ideas off of other people who are around me, both cast members and directors, and also friends who are around me and also do theater. And we'll have an ongoing argument with whether Amanda is actually supposed to be sympathetic ever at all with someone else. We all know. But having someone who has a different opinion forces me to be able to verbalize my thoughts, which makes you figure out what it is you think. So for me, that's a very important part of the process.
Yeah, the collaboration to me is we've had a lot of, during rehearsals, we've had a lot of sit around and discuss what you're, what are you wanting out of this particular even line. I mean, we go through with the lines, like this line is, like Mike says, every line is important. He wrote it for a reason. Tennessee Williams put it in there for a reason. So just trying to find the right meaning for each of those lines in each of those situations, because the scenes are the way they're set up. They're really quick at first, and they're different.
Yeah.
Each one of them are different, and it kind of builds upon each one, and the emotions ratchet up there, and it's just the collaboration, I guess, basically is the big thing with the process with me, because you go in thinking one thing, and then you get to talking about it with everybody else, and then it's like, well, I can see it from a different perspective now, and you just try to get the most correct way to do it, I guess.
and I'm not sure there is always a correct way to do things, but you have to kind of be all on the same page. Otherwise, you have to agree on one vision. Otherwise, everybody's going off in their different directions, and it just becomes a jumbled mass as opposed to a very cohesive story. And I feel like everybody here has been very good at staying on the same page. I don't think we've rarely deviated very much from anyone's one idea about those characters. And I think we've done a really good job, at least I think so, to this point of deviating these characters and not, as Amanda said, not making them one-dimensional. They're very, very three-dimensional characters, and hopefully there's some things in the characters you don't like and some things you do like, and I think by the end of the play you kind of feel a little sympathy for all of them because of what their lives are.
I think the process for me for this show specifically has been different because a lot of contemporary shows aren't so wordy, and this one is very wordy, not specifically for me, but even listening to you guys has just been
It's wordy.
challenging, trying to stay in it.
They
and
do go on.
They
yes,
talk,
they talk a
ramble.
lot. And the words are different, the language is different. So I think that's been, and the endings and everything we've been talking about, they're just, it's just different. It's something I haven't really touched on before, so. And reading about Tennessee Williams, I didn't realize before we started that this was like his life. Really, like I didn't understand. So reading about like his sister and his mom and how these characters are kind of what he remembers from his family is very interesting to me.
Yeah, she was like schizophrenic.
Yeah.
I read.
I think he does a lot of, most all of his plays have some autobiographical piece to it, but yeah, you're probably right. This one is probably the closest to his real life. And I think there's a little bit, although most people associate Tom with Tennessee Williams, which actually I think happened to be his real name was Tom, there's a little bit of him in Laura and a little bit of him in Amanda, even a little bit of him in Jim. You know.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe you feel better about your own family.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of it's not a real.
It's not so
That's
cut and
actually
dry.
interesting.
How you can feel
That's
about
an
it.
interesting question. Yeah.
I feel like everybody in the audience is going to feel something different after watching this.
Absolutely.
If
They
if
should.
we do what we're supposed to do.
They should.
Or not knowing how they should feel, probably, really.
Yeah.
There will be some people who walk out just hating Amanda, and there will be some who walk out and go, well, I can see her point of view.
Right.
And I hope we hear them arguing about it on
Yeah.
the sidewalk.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
And I think most men and women too have been in Tom's position where you have these dreams, and either through your own or other people's actions, you are not able to chase those dreams like you would like to.
I think that's another challenge of this show is the ending is not happy at all. It's very depressing.
Yeah.
So what to take from it, even as an actor in it, is kind of hard.
You're giving away so much.
I
No,
know.
no,
Like
I'm
you're
not.
giving away the
Yeah,
whole show.
what?
Okay.
It's not that
There
only
is
happily
the,
ever after.
There is the dance number at the end, though.
Oh yeah.
And then
What was
the
the
mass
surprise?
suicide with the Kool-Aid.
That, I like that. That's my
That
favorite
was a good
part.
one,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Boy, because we would feel like we've really wasted our time if you didn't, but
We worked
Yeah.
really hard.
no, seriously, I mean, it's a classic, and it's a classic for a reason. It's not because, it's 40, 50 years old, and these plays
75.
75.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
These
I looked
plays,
it up a couple
these
of
plays
days ago.
hold up for a
That's
reason, and I think it's because you can relate. This dynamic of a family does not change with generations. There's always these dynamics, and they may change as far as modernization of them, but the basic dynamic is the same. And to hopefully what we do is allow you to feel some of the emotions that these characters are feeling, and that they will generate some thought in you and some ideas, and you will walk away, having some ideas about, well, gee, I hope I'm not like that, or I hope I can, maybe I need, they look at Tom and may go, gee, maybe I need to take that chance I've been taking, or they look at Laura and say, I don't have to be, I need to open up more to people, and I need to be more of a social person, and reach out for friendships, and look at Amanda and say, hey, maybe I need to let my kids make their own choices about some things and let them grow. So every great play touches on things that we can all relate to, and everybody will relate differently.